Do y'all remember in the ancient times? I'm talking about back in the 1900s when we used to go outside and play and ride our bikes and make up games and do all of these things. If you anything like me, you remember slow leaks in your bike. I'm talking about them leaks where you go home, the bike tire's fine. You wake up, bike tire flat. Pump the bike tire up, ride the bike all day with no problems, go home, tire's fine, wake up the next day, tire is flat. Pump it up, do it over and over and over again. That's a slow leak. And something very similar happens in a lot of people's small business, but pumping it back up ain't as easy because you leaking cash. And in order for you to pump that cash back up, somebody got to pay for some ads, somebody got to sell something. So the slow leaks just hit a lot harder. They cost a lot more. And cash is slowly leaking out of the business day by day. But the problem ain't looking like a day by day problem because people aren't looking at their cash every day. And the biggest place that we see a lot of business owners experiencing that slow cash leak, overhead. By the way, I'm Albert, or Albert C. Hurston Jr., CPA, or Albert the CPA. I'm the owner, founder, CEO of Right Choice Accounting Solutions. I run it with my extraordinary, amazing, gorgeous wife, Lauren, and our amazing, extraordinary team. We are one-stop shop accounting and tax solution, everything from bookkeeping and tax prep, all the way up to fractional CFO and tax strategy. We are the right choice for you. Yeah. All right, so overhead. So what is overhead? Overhead is simply those things that go on in your business, no matter if you sell something or not. They are your indirect cost. So we're thinking stuff like rent, marketing, softwares. It's just the other stuff. It's not direct cost. It's overhead cost. So I don't want to complicate it. Most owners will always know the big overhead costs. Like if you got rent, you know how much your rent is. But do you know how much you're spending in software? Do you know how much you're spending in subscriptions? What about some of the other consequential things? What are your office expenses looking like? Has your office expense slowly been creeping up? These are the overhead things, and this is where cash just leaks right out of businesses because a lot of times people underestimate it because as you're looking at this stuff on a one-on-one basis, right? As you're like, okay, yeah, I get the sticky notes. Sticky notes, $3, right? They don't cost that much. I get the sticky notes, and you want some pens? You can have some pens too. So we'll get the pens. Oh, and you want that software? Yeah. That software is cool. So every single time you're thinking about this stuff one on one, it's fine because it's very inconsequential. It don't really cost a lot. But then what happens to a lot of people is they say yes to so much of that stuff for so many people that you lose track of the overall number. And software are the big one. We actually talked about that on the podcast taping today on the Real Bottom Line. We actually talked about software. Lauren and I have a story where we actually saved a client enough money to hire a new employee because it's a big business, so this ain't what is it, results may vary. It's a big business, so to be fair, we were able to save them that because what they were doing when they were hiring new contractors came in, they used this software, this tool, this blah blah blah. Client would get the software, then work out with the contractor. New contractor come in, they don't use those things, they use these things, so they buy these things. Of course, don't work out with that contractor, they get a new, and no one on the team was saying, hey, we need to go back and cancel those softwares, those subscriptions, those tools. And when we actually did like a full audit, we realized that it was $5,400. $5,400. That is over $64,000 in salary. So when we are trying to figure out how to hire a 45K role, and we got 64K sitting there in software, can you imagine the type of leak? That's a $64,000 leak, y'all. This ain't a made up story. This really happened in real life, and you may have that same sort of thing happening in your business. You have to be on top of those software because what we want to make sure we're doing is we need to be looking at this stuff as trends, right? Everything on your P&L should be a percentage of revenue, and you should be comparing it to something. I talk a lot in the book. I'm just referencing all of our stuff. We got the podcast shout out. We got the business owner financial playbook shout out. But I mention this a lot in the book because you want to contextualize everything. Everything needs to be in context. A number is just a number unless you put it in context. And the way you contextualize numbers, especially overhead, is you make them a percentage of revenue. Because $1,000 is just $1,000 until you know if it's 1% of revenue or 70% of revenue. So that's the context we're talking about. And if you study the context by percentage month over month, you'll actually be able to see if things are rising, if things are going down, and that sort of thing. So as you're considering this stuff, like your leaks and that sort of thing, you want to make sure you're contextualizing them and studying the trend, because this is where we actually find most of the margin for our clients. It ain't in team, it ain't in marketing, it's in the other stuff. It's in subscriptions and dues and softwares. It's in insurance that's been renewing every single year and going up every single year. Nobody shopped it. Nobody said anything. It's in those little things that the business owner has probably forgotten all about. It ain't even a thing in their mind anymore because they're moving on and they're focusing on big expenses, big problems like growing a business, payroll, and that sort of a thing. So here's how you fix it. I want to get all the way to the end. You fix it, and here's your few step thing. I'm going to get right to the point. Pull your P&L, go line by line, make sure you understand what's happening on every single account. Any account you have a question about, you dive into the detail. If you can do it, if you have your own QuickBooks, just click on it. It'll show you what makes up that amount. And if you don't have access to your own or you pay somebody to do this, have your accountant send you a detailed ledger of what those expenses are. I want you to make sure you're focusing on software, subscriptions. I want you to make sure you're focusing on bank fees. Make sure you're focusing on office expenses. You need to understand every single one of these little things to make sure that what's supposed to be going on in there is actually going on in there. I want to make sure that you look at it and say everything that doesn't have a clear value, everything that's not either supporting me make money or supporting my people who are making me money is on the chopping block. And that's it. That's how you kind of stop the overhead leaks, right? And I'm taking it to the bridge. I love that we started saying taking it to the bridge. But invisible and untracked overhead is your enemy. It's your enemy. And it's your slow leak. And it's making your bike tire go flat. But your bike tire is filled up with money instead of air. So you definitely want to make sure that yours is rolling smoothly. I know when you think about rolling in dough, you never think about a bike tire. Think about your bike tire. Think about that slow leak. Because if it's leaking out, you ain't just got a cash pump sitting over there in the shed or under the porch where I used to keep mine under the porch because I'm from somewhere they will steal your air pump. You had to hide your air pump. For whatever reason, my mom wouldn't let me keep the air pump in. That's another story. That's another story for another day. Anyways, but the books are going to tell you these things, right? Your books are literally always talking to you. They're always trying to talk to you. And I guess it's like Charlie Brown teacher to a lot of people. It's just womp, 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 womp. And nobody's listening. But once you start listening, you can actually save yourself and run a smarter business. The only way that a business runs by the numbers. Yeah. So before I get out of here, I do want to tell you about some new stuff on the horizon. We have a new podcast that's probably already live by the time you're seeing this. It's The Real Bottom Line with Albert the CPA. It's actually a TV show. We call it a podcast. It's a show. We have segments. It's really good. The whole team is involved. Well, most of the team is involved. We do have Ray runs it all, who's always here. We have Crystal Clear Numbers, who you see pop in. We have the Lauren Hurston. She actually shows up for a full segment. And of course, as always, we have Ice off camera, behind the camera, managing the set, managing the stuff. So you'll get to see another side of the full Right Choice team, the full in-office everyday Right Choice team. And it's a fun time. It's a fun time, especially if you're someone who likes to see how business goes by the number. And my book, my very first book, is live and you can go purchase it whenever you get ready. It's going to walk you through, as a business leader, how to look at your numbers and the numbers you should be looking at and how to ask for the right things from your accounting support if you have it. So a lot of value coming out of the Right Choice atmosphere, hemisphere, environment. Was a wonderful. And of course, go follow me on socials, Albert the CPA, everywhere pretty much. We're really on video platforms because, as you see, I like to get in front of these cameras and run my mouth. So follow me there and here. You already know. Comment, subscribe, follow, like. I'm missing one.
Hit the bell.
Hit the bell. Do all of the YouTube stuff. If you're watching this on YouTube, do all the YouTube stuff. Help us support this channel, grow this channel, because you know I'm the man for the job and I'm going to make sure that we are providing value. I'm gonna get out of here on that one. Mic drop.